Hey guys, it is time for another video of our women of the Bible. This week we're going to talk about Claudia. She was a Christian woman in Rome. You can find her in 2 Timothy chapter 4 verse 21. It says, "Do thy diligence to come before winter. Eubulus greeteth thee, and Pudens and Linus and Claudia and all the brethren." This is the only mention of Claudia in the Bible. The meaning of the name Claudia is lame. Now, I've had two questions brought up to me this week. One was, does the Bible mention ghosts and spirits? And the other one was, does the Bible mention volcanoes and eruptions? We'll start with, does the Bible mention ghosts or spirits? Now, there are a few New Testament references to ghosts and spirits. I'm going to read them to you. And then we'll go over something else. Matthew 14:26. "And when the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were troubled, saying, It is a spirit, so they cried out for fear." In Luke chapter 24, verse 39, "Behold my hands and my feet, that is I myself. Handle me and see, for a spirit hath not flesh and bones, as ye see me have." Jesus did not deny the existence of ghosts. He simply said he wasn't one. Now, the most well-known account of a ghost in the Bible actually takes place in the Old Testament, the Witch of Endor. And you can find this in 1 Samuel chapter 28, verses 3 through 25. I'm going to read them and then we're going to go over that part of it. Okay. "Now Samuel was dead, and all Israel had lamented him and buried him in Ramah, even in his own city, and Saul had put away those that had familiar spirits and wizards out of the land. And the Philistines gathered themselves together and came and pitched in Shunem, and Saul gathered all Israel together, and they pitched in Gilboa. And when Saul saw the host of the Philistines, he was afraid, and his heart greatly trembled. And when Saul inquired of the Lord answered him not, neither by dreams, nor by Urim, nor by prophets. Then said Saul unto his servants, Seek me a woman that hath a familiar spirit, that I may go to her, and inquire of her. And his servants said to him, Behold, there is a woman that hath familiar spirit at Endor. And Saul disguised himself, and put on other raiment, and he went, and 2 men with him, and they came to the woman by night, and he said, I pray thee, divine unto me by the familiar spirit, and bring him up, whom I shall name unto thee. And the woman said unto him, Behold, thou knowest what Saul hath done, how he hath cut off those that have familiar spirits of the wizards out of the land, wherefore layest thou a snare for my life to cause me to die. And Saul sware to her by the Lord, saying, As the Lord liveth, there shall no punishment happen to thee for this thing. Then said the woman, Whom shall I bring up unto thee? And he said, Bring me up Samuel. And when the woman saw Samuel, she cried with a loud voice, and the woman spake to Saul, saying, Why hast thou deceived me, for thou art Saul? And the king said unto her, Be not afraid, for what sawest thou? And the woman said unto Saul, I saw gods ascending out of the earth. And he said unto her, What form is he of? And she said, An old man cometh up, and he is covered with a mantle. And Saul perceived that it was Samuel. And he stooped with his face to the ground, and bowed himself. And Samuel said to Saul, Why hast thou disquieted me to bring me up? And Saul answered, I am sore distressed, for the Philistines make war against me, and God is departed from me, and answereth me no more, neither by prophets nor by dreams. Therefore I have called thee, that thou mayest make known unto me what I shall do. Then said Samuel, Wherefore then thou ask of me, seeing the Lord is departed from thee, and is become thine enemy? And the Lord hath done to him as he spake by him, for the Lord hath rent the kingdom of thine hand, and given it to thy neighbor, even to David, because thou obeyest not the voice of the Lord, nor executest his fierce wrath upon Amalek. Therefore the Lord done this thing unto thee this day. Moreover, the Lord will also deliver Israel with thee into the hand of the Philistines, and tomorrow shalt thou and thy sons be with me. The Lord also shall deliver the host of Israel into the hand of the Philistines. Then Saul fell straightway all along on the earth, and was sore afraid because of the words of Samuel. And there was no strength in him, for he had eaten no bread all the day, nor all the night. And a woman came unto Saul, and saw that he was sore trembled, and said unto him, Behold, thine handmaid hath obeyed thy voice, and I have put my life in my hand, and have hearkened unto the words which thou spakest unto me. Now therefore I pray thee, hearken thou also unto the voice of thine handmaid, and let me set a morsel of bread before thee, and eat, that thou mayest have strength when thou goest on thy way. But he refused, and said, I will not eat. But his servants together with the woman compelled him, and he hearkened unto their voice. So he arose from the earth, and sat upon the bed. And a woman had a fat calf in the house, and she hasted and killed it, and took flour and kneaded it, and did bake it unleavened bread thereof, and she brought it before Saul and before his servants, and they did eat. Then they rose up and went away that night. I know I read more than what it was talking about, but oh well. Okay, now, and then I wanted to add, in case you were wondering, because it's got right at the top of it, you can look and see in 1 Samuel chapter 28, I closed it a little too early. Saul and the Witch of Endor. I don't know if you can see that, but at the top of it there, it's where it says it. Saul and the Witch of Endor. Yeah. Okay. Now, let's talk about that a little bit. Let's see. She is contacted by King Saul, who is in disguise to summon the spirit of the prophet Samuel, because he is just having a very rough go at war and doesn't know what to do. So the witch does her little incantations. And I guess what got me, and it kind of tickled me, she was just as surprised and horrified to see Samuel's spirit as Saul was. So the answer to that is yes, the Bible does speak of ghosts and spirits. Does the Bible mention volcanoes and eruptions? I found verses that sound like volcanoes to me. In Psalm 104:32, he looketh on the earth, and it trembleth. He toucheth the hills, and they smoke. In Micah chapter 1 verse 4, and the mountains shall be molten under him, and the valleys shall be cleft as wax before the fire, and as the waters that are poured down a steep place. In Isaiah 64:1-3. O that thou wouldest rend the heavens, that thou wouldest come down, that the mountains might flow down at thy presence, as when the melting fire burneth. The fire causeth the waters to boil, to make thy name known to thine adversaries, that the nations may tremble at thy presence. When thou didst terrible things, which we looked not for, thou camest down, the mountain flowed down at thy presence. And in Exodus chapter 19 verse 18, and Mount Sinai was altogether on a smoke, because the Lord descended upon it in fire, and the smoke thereof ascended as the smoke of a furnace, and the whole mountain quaked greatly. And then it speaks more of volcanoes and eruptions in 1, 2, 3, 6. Looks like 12 more places. I will have them all in the description box if you want to go look more, but that was some of the verses that did speak of volcanoes and eruptions. I hoped you all enjoyed this week's video. I know it was a little longer, but it was actually fun looking at stuff up. If you have any questions or you want to hear about anything else, just let me know. You all be careful, be safe. I love you, and I'll talk to you later.